I did it again, didn't I? You being late into a room, getting stuck in the doorway. Just assume it's that. Anyway, hello, welcome back to to those who have chosen to stop by. Today is going to be a little bit out of the norm. I signed up to Art Fight the day before it went live as someone from Team Vampire. I had I had to pick. Sorry, werewolves. Werewolves are less interesting. So I am going to be picking someone from. I'm going to be picking a character from Team Werewolf and drawing them, and I've picked out a few already that I can try. And let's see. And this one I'm thinking. Well, there's a snake. There's a snake or two here that I'd like to draw. I had an original idea before. I had a different idea beforehand, but it I ended up changing my direction on that. So I'm going to need a pose because I hadn't really thought of one yet. And I'm going to have to, and this is going to be my first proper practice drawing serpentine shapes other than my own tail. Oh, I'm getting pinged already. That's a little bit of an oof. Well, okay. Well, I've got a character here called I believe it's Samira. I have a character called Samara. Completely different setting, completely unrelated. Not even any serpentine stuff. That's just what came to mind for a tired head. And this is going to be another kind of low energy thing. But what can we do here? I don't know why that reference includes an owl. Not even on one of the parts. Right. So, big long tail, quite the chest, cobra style hood. And a pair of mechanical arms. Which must be a fun combination. So I could do the classic of the tail wrapping around someone and kind of taking them down, slamming them into the floor or something. But I kind of want to do one of her hanging from a tree or some kind of outcropping, maybe some kind of a ledge. What's the shape gonna do for that? It's one of those. Was it one of those kind of one of those stone gazebo tower shaped things? The Gondor Tower kind of look. Do hanging out from the edge of that along being coiled around a beam, maybe. Yeah, I'll try that. It's going to be a bit of a messy perspective. I'm going to need more space, probably. So let's just stretch that out. No? Okay, come on. There we go. Oh, I'm still drawing in white. So we'll have our beam coming out there. Something like that, I guess, for the angle I'm going for. The tower will continue round a bit. No. We need more like... just going to go up like that. So that's going to be a straight line straight up, so I might as well just put that in. Actually, like that. Scrub this out. I don't think I'll worry too much about the tower. I just want some kind of shape to give context to what's going on. How's this looking when I complete it? That feels... well, this angle's all wrong. Definitely more... yeah, then back to the line, straight up once more. Well, up to there. And I'm going to put a separate point where this beam is connected to, just there, I think. Which means all this goes. I kind of need to move that beam along now, which will now ruin a lot of the other setup. Ah, no. I will move the entire shape along instead. Put you there. I think all of you watching will learn fairly quickly why why I may have taken a liking to this character design. But while I'm setting it up, I'd like to take the time to drone about the... I might as well chat about the setting, because my setting's actually relevant to this kind of look. See, there is a part of my setting known as Shandis. It's a big black desert. I'm sure some people heard the start of that sentence and thought I was going somewhere very different. It's this big black desert full of all igneous rock that's been ground down over these centuries from a load of old massive volcanoes, until it finally became the modern day desert that it is. By that at the point it became a desert, people moved into it. Some of the well, a group of Fae, the Summer Court, the ones that not summer, sorry, the Spring Court that predated me. This is ancient history by mortal standards. Well, my standards as well. No, it's about 20,000 years ago, thereabouts, maybe a little less. It's the dawn of recorded history as the Fae came to the world after a great sorrow, and its people became elves and Lamia. And spring, you see, has always been the court of fertility and motherhood. So its descendants had certain physical gifts, let's call them, not always necessarily as bounteous as you may observe in some of the denizens of the New Spring, but certainly always plentiful. So let's see if I can get this curve right. Yeah, there we go. So plentiful. And so that and part of the inspiration for the design of the people of that area was inspired by a certain bit of Lamia art that I stumbled across online. If anyone's been on DeviantArt, they probably have seen similar. The and it inspired a lot of little bits and pieces about the setting. And that's looking how I want, almost. Something I'm missing. It inspired a number of things about the look of the setting. It decided the climate there. That it's actually kind of far north. It's a desert because there is this massive amount of igneous rock and not much soil, and a great deal of wind that comes down from the northwest to keeps it from being particularly keeps it from any sort of vegetation and such being able to settle. But it's a livable temperature. There is still plenty of rain. It's a relatively green desert. There are various stretches of scrubland, brush, cacti, variations, and animals there. So it's far from dead. And of course, there are the people who live in their cities along the shoreline. But the black sand means it soaks in a lot of heat during the day, which means there is a lot of heat being given off, but there is not much. But there is less in the way of boiling sun. So the clothing is often freeing. It's quite airy. It's not full covering because it doesn't necessarily help you because that's too much insulation. There's still always stuff worn, but the populational favors shorter tops and skirts, even if regardless of one's gender and so on and so forth. It's a decent fashion choice because there are many Lamia there. They are going to want to wear skirts, and most bipedals are going to want to do the same because they don't want to boil. The imperative here is not to let them cook. But it also means, as I mentioned, short tops, bare stomachs, bare arms, often a lot of times bare legs below the knee. You'll get those kind of short toga style situations. Got here, do a little bit of stone. Okay, that's about what I'm looking. That's about what I'm thinking. And I want to send it to there. Where was I? Fashion. Yeah. So everyone wears this. Yeah. So there is this fairly commonplace look to the people of fairly, I'd say, relatively showy clothing by a lot of standards. Um, in fact, the place has a reputation. However, it is not one entirely deserved. Its people, or at least certain cities, namely the capital of Kisbe and the peninsula city Nezge, have a reputation for having large nudist districts, which is it's provably false by visiting it. But Nezge in particular has a number of kind of specific like nudist squares or places you can go to get out of the heat, often with cool baths and such. And since the rainforest moved south, the people of Kisbe have somewhat adopted those principles too. It's not a complete thing. It's not a sort of universal takeover of their styles, but it has happened to a certain degree. It's the combination of fairly full-figured people, men and women. There's this kind of broadness to everyone, uh, broadness kind of and broadness and softness to all the people. All the people there. And while in the north it's more bubbly and round, in the south it's more willowy. So between the kind of the natural shape of those present there, the predication towards more showy clothing, and these sort of places, sometimes clubs, sometimes organized squares that have kind of gated and doors and such that you can to keep so that you can separate, so that the people who don't want to be dealing with that can separate themselves if they prefer. Has given this place this reputation for a lot of very showy women, and it's, as I say, it's very easy to disprove, but it it ended up being a little. It's even just a bit about the setting that just developed from how I realized that people would respond to that kind of place. Hell, how people did. How the internet would often take the how the internet would receive that information often did in some quite humorous ways. I didn't dislike the responses. They were almost universally funny and good-natured. But this idea for how the place looks, and there is a third species that dominates that dominates the sand. Nomadic though, serpentine folk, the henbee. They draw at least a little from. I often use Japanese names for their naming conventions. I do honestly admit though that often any connection to a relevant culture is typically only skin deep. It's most often just accents and names to make it easier for me to distinguish the various nations in my head. But what I'm trying to say with all this is there is a part of Arturium which I have only visited once, mind you. I am one of the new spring, not one of the old, and I have only visited it once recently on my return to the world. But there is a fairly substantial region of Arturium that is largely run by very full-figured snake people. The henbee aren't necessarily as voluptuous, but they do have some incredible genetics. They are, even more so than humans, the most genetically adaptable species in the setting. They can over a single generation. What's No, that's a bad way to put it. It's they can reproduce with pretty much any other species, and they can if they and they can and their offspring will be fertile, and they can integrate pretty much any feature a species might have. I'm just going to copy this and make this thing a little longer. There. Get all this. That's more like what I'm looking for. Merge down. So yes, there are some more fuller featured henbee as a result, given how quickly they can integrate other characteristics. And there are a number who have other features as well. So you'll find ones with more draconic snouts or draconic tails. They can be bipedal or serpentine. Often the oldest and often the oldest, more stable bloodlines are almost fully serpentine, but with a great deal of intelligence and magic. There are ones that are 10 to 14 feet tall if one of their parents was a Goliath. Rather not Goliath, that's the equivalent, half giant kin, that kind of thing. Okay, we have okay, so I think that's a decent enough shape for the tower that I've got. I'll put another line just up here though. There's an internal wall separator. Oof. Where was I going with this? I don't know if I was going anywhere. I just kind of like talking about that part of the setting because it's the one that received a lot of spontaneous development when I ended up running a game in it. The game that did unfortunately end up falling apart. It was a group that struggled a bit and poor decisions were made. You live and you learn. Just. Yeah, so what I'm going to be drawing is I think it's pretty appropriate to call them a very curvy hen bee given the set of features present. Uh, hey fathead, it's going all right. I am as sleep deprived as ever, but I at least, even if I had to be up quite early this morning, I did get some shopping done. Uh, Tell me, what do you think of Booba, and what do you think of snakes? Boobs, Booba. So, because that is exactly what we're drawing. Getting this all, getting the. That's more like it. That's the other side of it, right? Snakes aren't your only if they're okay. We love the chests, and only if they're in an enclosure, but only snakes if they're in an enclosure. Well, this one has a bit more intelligence than the average snake, so hopefully we'll. Hopefully she can convince you. I enjoy snakes as long as I don't have to murder them. Right, yes. You are from a place in the world that actually has those to worry about. I'm glad that I'm not. Oh, all this up here. Then there is the front has a different color, so I will I'll wait till I get to the actual before I do that. There's not exactly shoulders, but there is something. No, that didn't seem right. Let's see. Something like that. Hmm. Actually, I think I can find. Just go looking for things. That'll do. Getting the what is it? Oh, and I've lost what I was looking for again. There we go, back to the actual reference. Getting the kind of shoulder area and the limbs in is a bit of a challenge. So I think it's more like, and then the limbs technically come out here. No, there is a kind of shoulder present. Not very much of one, but we'll get some kind of cross shape. You incidentally, you missed a you missed the half-hour rant about the part of my setting that is entirely populated by voluptuous snake women. So So it was a little bit of unfortunate timing, but well, you're around to see me draw one, so. Let's shorten this and move it all down. Oh god, did I put this on? I did. I'm not wanting that anyway, it's not looking good. Let's redo this line from about here. Because looking at it, it's probably easier if I put the so that puts that like that. Clean this up. How much do you charge for these kind of drawings for characters? I currently don't have commissions done yet. And to be fair, this isn't actually going to be a lube one. There's going to be some weight, but it's not a lube thing. That said, I am planning to open commissions fairly soon once I've got one more piece done. Going to be aiming. Oh god, Duppy Snake. Piece is finished, guys. We can go home. No, the I'm planning to, if for a full character and an actual backdrop scene, I'm planning to open for about 50 quid, which is $60 thereabouts. I think. If I can get this bit smooth anyway. This one I'm just doing for free as part of Art Fight. You don't charge for Art Fight commissions or Art Fight stuff. It's just what you just do it. It's just people have submitted characters, and I like snakes with bountiful chests. Just curious because I'd love to get one done of my D&D character. Well, I'm planning to put the commission sheet and get all that set up this week, so I can let you know. I can let you know when I actually open things if you'd like. it's kind of it's honestly the kind of whole plan with me and Twitch. I don't expect to make money off of Twitch. Really, the uh, the situation is too dire, really, in that regard. But I think I can get enough community to hopefully make a few commissions. My tablet just threw up the thing that tells me all the controls and threw off my aim for that last line. But yeah, I'd love to take commissions. That's definitely on the plan for the near future. So let's see, we have. Let's put the. God, this thing's getting longer and longer. The snake is extending. I might need to. I'm going to have to compress it a little. No, just that, so I can move this back. While I'm at it, where would be the best place to let you know? Discord, because obviously I can just let you know via. I can DM you, or I can let you know via Demi server or something. What's the character? As well, if you have anything on hand, feel free to send that. No, because I'd like to take a look now. That'd be. I like seeing and hearing about D&D characters and TTRPG characters. Separate that. That circle doesn't need to be here. That's just an ARM reference. That is a guide point. We have. Okay. Then we have. I guess here. Should be. one of those kind of waist style tops, but not quite what I was thinking. What we want is really it's this section plus this that needs to. Got don't mind me figuring out shapes. So we have this. And It's the most I've ever. It's the hardest I've ever concentrated on drawing. Though, if we're being particular, that question, that sentence applies to pretty much all of the drawing I've done recently. Okay, I think that works. Yeah, we then have. Have the bottom half of that top. Layer 2. Trim that bit off. Same with that. That's another line that's going to be redrawn, but I keep looking at chat, seeing D&D character, and for some reason I keep reading Doctor. There's a problem apparently. Let's just clear this out and see how it looks. So I don't think that made it better. No, it did not. Please, someone draw my D&D Doctor. I have one of those too. She's called Mihaela. She is long-suffering and is entirely pacifist, and it's worked out remarkably well so far. That's what I'll say about it. We have it's good that the rest of the party can deal all the damage that I don't, because I know how to time my hold person. Got that. What was that squiggly line? Wrong layer. Somehow that's worse. Okay. Which ones did I put on? 2, just that little bit. Yeah, no, I don't need to cut that. I need to cut from that. Bring to that. Yeah. Okay, so that's gotten that right, but I don't know where that bit went. Now we extend finally. Okay. Now, how does that top even go on? So, I'm guessing it probably goes 2 ways, across the thing and down the back. No, probably just across. So delete this. Got this. Okay, I'll redraw this little line. Oops. I actually want to try precision mode, see if I can use it to yeah, it's not that helpful. Get the idea, it just takes the size of the tablet and then shifts it down to, like, this moving across this little area now requires the whole tablet while in precision mode, whereas obviously normally the whole screen. And this can go. Just being outmoded. And the whole thing has this fairly thick line around it, so this to be more. No, no, that's. It needs to end about. It needs to end earlier, like that. And this should be. Oh, I've been sitting here for the whole time without without the music on. Let me real quick change that. I'll put on the EDM. Mute it for a second while I actually fix up the sound so it doesn't blow people's eardrums out. Let's go down to see how this is. That'll do. There we go. Oh well, most of this goes straight away. And the beautiful part is that no one can even really complain about this one because it's massive Norks on a giant snake. It's already gone beyond the realm of making sense. And then it is that, yes, that kind of. It needs to be more like here. Open mouth would be. God, this is. I'm going to make it look less like Kermit the Frog in a bit, but that's what it's turning out like right now. Kermit the Frog with massive snake tithers. So. I think the head needs to be a separate layer too. These two can merge at this point. That's still the guide layer. And yeah. We're looking for a neck around there, I think. No? Like there. Oh. I put that on the guide layer. And this needs to be okay. God, I got these both the wrong way round. Too focused on making sure certain assets were properly shaped, I guess. Okay, let's put that there. And then we'll grab this line. No. Cut. That needs to go down to layer 2. And this one needs to merge here. Now that should be right. Guide, paint, undrawn head. Okay. So we'd have something. No, that's not right for that shape of heads. What we have it's kind of a triangular shape, really. Let's lower the opacity on this and the guides. As ever, I'm going to at least get a sketch done before I finish. What I'm looking for. So we'd Okay, that's more in line. I've drawn one snake before in my. I've drawn only one snake before and it had the mouth closed, so it's a bit of a different experience. Oh, that's helpful. Uh, Pop up paints. Flip. No. Okay, that's kind of perfect to what I'm looking for. Let's. Yes, start with the peanut. No, we want. If it's the way I'm thinking. It's a fairly sheer turn here. And he truncates fairly shortly too. Okay. That looks a bit more like a duck at the moment. Or, I know the hollow child. Let's put some of the. Okay, let's delete that thing. That is not helping me at all at this point. Just put it there as a brief support. And now Can you have... Oh, wrong thing. Just pop up the full image. Right then, so I've drawn something like this before, but not quite. Closer each brushstroke. That's, I think, the look. No, not quite, because we don't have... How does that look? Sans any wiggliness from me making mistakes. Okay, then the eye is going to be... I can merge these now, they're not doing anything separate. I want that there. I don't think I want this. And there is a ridge on them behind here, along with one that comes over and connects back there. Okay, that's generally right. I just need to bring that back to there. No. Oh, that's it. So it's more because it would be this coming over here. I just send this back here and then tuck it round. Don't think I can. I might just be losing the plot here. No, that doesn't that all keeps coming out wrong. I may just have to admit I just have to move that one up a little. Just extend this up to yeah, maybe that. Right. That looks like a usable head. Back up to 100. Clean out the bits that are now hidden. Uber must be removed. Hmm. Yeah, then I think the plan will be to put the machine the machine arms in onto the with one waving. What? Oh, I can I can be sneaky. I can put one just a hand there, and then have this one waving out to the side, like like hand. Probably shouldn't keep it there. But before we go any further, got some teeths. As I remember, there's a kind of thing that comes off them. Now I'll get rid of that. So I can at least clear this out too. Put this one down. Make them more level. And we have looking down there. And the hood. Need a good Cobra hood. I just pressed the back button. Oh right, the Cobra's hood has all the bones in it too. It's one hell of a skeleton. So have It's got to be... Did I get the hood right? I probably didn't. No. Which I almost did. It's just quite big. It's trying to get that right sense of size for the hood. I'm struggling with. Oh god, I did it again. Wrong layer. Okay. Oh, that's... I think that's the closest I'm going to get. Does this work? Once I've cleared away this sneeze coming on. Oh, damn it. Let's... there. This might give me a bit more room with the hoods. A little, I guess. Should be more like... more like that, though. Just sorting out my pings. 2 seconds. Okay, done. So that's roughly going to be that hand. And it is that one. So that one's going to be down, and I'm going to have it gripping this. And I think I'm going to try and if they say that I can mess with the design of the hands, but I'm going to try and at least keep loosely to the original, at least until my frustrations get the better of me anyway. This should be smoother. So there is that plate, and then the fingers, interestingly, coming out of it only seem to have two associated digits. Oh, no, those. To get rid of everything along this line. It's right, yes, so the thumb will be on this side as well. And And I'm going to truncate you just to about. I cut you just there. Robot fingers, both easier and more difficult to draw. Honestly, there was actually going to be a Pokemon one I was going to draw today. However, that was before I realized it was Pokemon. And while I have nothing in particular against the franchise, though I've heard that they are doing the usual thing of weakening the games each year because people will buy them anyway. Uh, while I have, no special foibles there, I just kind of don't feel like Pokemon stuff. Just kind of, I don't know. It's never something that I've been particularly interested in. And there's never been a particular reason why either. It never grabbed me. Like probably because I was into Yu-Gi-Oh when I was younger. Not specifically that Yu-Gi-Oh is better or worse, just that was the one that, for whatever reason, kept my attention when I was younger, and so I never got the same bug. Don't remember. I don't think I know of anyone who was really into collecting both. So And then there is the joint for the hand, which is need to get rid of this bit anyway. Then there is I'm getting that right, yeah. And then we have that needs to be widened. Shave, shave, lengthen. No, it should actually be off like that. Realization, because it needs to be going off at a certain angle to roughly meet up with what it was with the where it comes from. And that still fits the bill of attaching up to over here somewhere. Now, this arm is going to be trickier. It's like silver on one of my hands. Oh, it must be some flakes off the pen. So what do we have? We have 3 plates. Merge all you now. And that's layer 2. So that's that one. We then get a second plate that comes out of here. Comes down to do the same. And then a third, which will be partly hidden this time because of the joint. No. We'll have some more just here. Okay. So now this is the joint, and how's that going to look? This is that arm. If that is raised, then we are going to get to be roughly this. Oh dear, this is all on one layer. So we'll do careful cleaning. To there. You out to about there, I think. This needs to go. Okay. And then before the hand, because I always have to do that separately to the body, there is going to be there's always then there's those straps that go across. I'll tidy a few of these up. Delete that. Back into here. I want to get rid of all this. So got splayed hands splayed towards you. Now that's an image. Based on that message, I've been having a chat with some. I am a fair avid fan of the Souls likes. I'll be honest, and I've been having a bit of a conversation online to do with some of the bosses of not Dishonored, Blasphemous, and from based on how people are talking about it, I feel like Blasphemous might be my next proper playthrough. I guess that could just be each of the 3 tiers of bracket that's on the arm. Gonna cut that off and rotate it and do a little bit of messing about with the total height though. No, 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 wrong one. Rotate the whole thing like that. First thing I'm going to do is make it symmetrical. Duplicate. Oh right, I need the move tool to mirror it horizontal. Then I move it. Edge down. Now, I'm very delicately wanting to select each of these and just bring them up. Oh, and what's more, I've made progress on the model, and each time I'm happy with what I've done. I would love for it to be done by the end of the week, but I don't think it's going to be, not to a satisfying degree. Oops, sneeze. That's twice now it's cut me off. Um, It's left me just sniffly. Every two sneezes that I've gone right to the hair, and then nothing. Okay, I'm going for there, then cross, then there. Before I forget it. It's got the said that separate color section in the center, so just making sure I have it separate for when I do it. And it's not entirely on just the front, on the entire neck as well, so I'll put that there. There's a kind of I may be putting off doing the other hand, yes. And finally, just okay. Right, we get to it. One, do the final hand. This is part of why I need to get better at these things, because I want to be able to do sketch and color on stream if I can. But I don't want to be rushing the sketch either, because well, I've done that before and it makes my art suck. there. And right. Can I change that tool? No, I can't. Now what happens if I grab that? Okay, now it does it. Ooh, the blur. Okay, so now we have little finger, index, main and middle. These are just brief looks at how it's going. These are just the base pieces. It's all going to come out at different angles. Case in point. Going to need to be. Just gonna have to clear this as I go and see how it looks. there, there, there. Cross, make a little cube. Very gently get into there. If this ain't looking all that great. Yeah, actually, no, okay, I take that back. It's looking all right. And you know what? I am going to just copy that finger. No, not cuts. What the hell? Copy. Transform. Mirror. Let's put them there. Trim that down to there. Down to there. And then I put a line connecting those two. Then for the merge these. And for that final one, I think trim this off. Get these fine little bits of chaff out the way. We have most of the fingers in. Merge down. Add that bit of tail back that just got deleted at some point. Can merge these finally. What's that thumb going to look like? The thumb's only a small amount, so Okay. It's proper, hey, look up here kind of thing. Merge. Merge. And now I guess I should try and put at least some of the detailing on. Some of the various squiggles and patches. Because we've got, oh yes. Snake nose. A snose, if you will. Could almost, I should almost tip my drink uh, down my chin. That's more of a now we have a kind of flower pattern on here. I'm not. This kind of wins. This design wins points just on the flower symbolism and the kind of the vine symbolism they've got going on the arm decoration, because I I like that stuff. I just like the flowers, the roses, that kind of thing. Got oh, they've even got thorns and leaves coming off this. I'm going to do this as fully as I would with the last bit of thorn work that I did. one needs to go this direction. And there's not much space to fit anything on here, so let's go with simpler design on that. But I can fit a more detailed one here. Oh, no, this one does better with the thorns still separated, so to speak. Or at least still separated by that little line. The other one might do that as well, actually, given the nature of the engraving. And okay, that's detailing. That's the detail there, and then we can do some. Get some very rough scaling patterning done. Actually, no, let's do the bit stuff in here instead. And it's probably not the final bit I'm going to do on the line art, but because I don't want to be leaving people with just that, let's put some colour on now. So we're going to need a couple of greens. So let's first grab that. We're going to want something like, no, still darker and big brush. That's pretty close. And then lighten the shade a little for the underbelly, going to need a very plain, on the lighter side, grey for the prosthetic limbs. We'll need pale yellow. Pale yellow for the eyes. Ooh, that's fairly close again. Black for the actual pupil, and we're going to want a very particular shade of reds. It's quite intense, but I think that's close. That'll be for a tongue. So, let's get started. And I'll grab another kind of red and make it a bit grainy for the stonework if I have time. Since regular grey stone is rather uncommon in Ashandis. So there's plenty of just other colours, but I don't want to go with... Actually, we've got a fairly good set of colours. I may go for just a a deep grey close to black kind of thing. Is that a dead pixel? No, it's just a bit of moisture on the screen. The aim here is something I can... I know, I'll finish this up after and post it separately as a full piece. I want this thing entirely done when I show this one, when I share this on social media. Who knows? There is an artificer in Ashandis who makes stuff like this now. So these two could be semi-canon to the setting. On top of just being a funny art idea to show a good deal of weight hanging off a stone precipice. most of this bit done. Bit to trim off there. Keep trying to do that smooth glide of the colours and then catching on the end. It's probably why I still keep the line art, because it's easier to go up to a nice thick line. Now we have this bit here, and I believe the head is also that same dark tone too. Let's grab this, just because I realized I forgot. No, needs to not be in colors. Needs to be on layer 2. Now colors. Now once again. Oh, I can do a little bit of I can cheat a little with my colors here, and that's why I probably shouldn't do the black as the color for the stonework, because it's already the color that's going to be on the shirt. Okay. Dark green done. Onto the light. Got the. So the cursor is the same color, is almost the same color as the light green I'm using. This is already messing with my perception of what I'm brushing on. Damn. I could feel something about to go wrong there, so I saved, because I don't know when I last did. Nothing's gone wrong yet, but now I'm saved. Turn the brush size down just that little because I keep drifting over edges. We're pressing too hard. Oh, tiny little bit in that corner, right. Oh, and I'm definitely going to be up, even if it's not this, I don't know if it will be yet. I am definitely going to be uploading actually, I will be. It'll be this and something else today and tomorrow. I'm not clear if it'll be this piece or another piece going up today, but, well, whichever one shows up, you'll know the other one's going tomorrow. Also, a bit of a word of warning, this art fight stuff, unless it turns out that I can sustain this for longer, I'm not expecting to be doing these streams on Wednesday all the time. Just for the month. Since I'm pretty sure I can do pretty sure 12 extra hours a month is fine to be doing these pieces, because it's a challenge, it's a competition thing, kinda, not really, but it's not meant to be long-lived. Uh, I'd like to finish this today though, so I can start a new attack on Friday. Well, either way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There'll be one thing going up either way. I'm fretting. I'm overthinking. Common problem for me, really. I'm teasing you now with where this green is going to be placed. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. Oh, there is actually another place that needs a different color. The hood doesn't have this green. The hood is a more khaki. Oh shit. So long without lifting the pen. So much to redo. That leedle leedle sound in this song, it's like Patrick Starr is serenading you with EDM. Okay, so let's start with that. Drift a little more towards the yellow and lighten it. Yeah. I need to develop the other parts of the setting more. The dens has been getting a lot of, well, related work recently. That's where the dens is a long way from Ashandis, though. Much different climate, very swampy, surrounded entirely by mountains and ruled over by a vampire lord. One of the two in the setting, because I'm on Team Vampire for this challenge, but I'm not a huge fan of either creature, to be honest. It's the unfortunate thing of them kind of having oversaturated media when I was growing up, I guess. Plus, there was the whole Twilight thing where it either got you really into them or put you really off them, and uh, I didn't like the sparkles or any part of it really. It wasn't my kind of story. Get those eyes if I get the right color. Grab the quick black just to fill in this. Doesn't need anything more complicated than that. Now what? Yeah, prosthetics. Prosthetics. Got an idea for a tweak I'll make to these limbs in a second too. Once I've gotten the main chunk of them down. I'll just need to find the right colours. So it's going to be a couple of points of that nearly black on that I should put down, just in those joints, which I can then use on the tank top or the sports top. Nice. Well, let's start with that mostly black. It really should never be pure black. It doesn't, pure black doesn't go very well on things. That's a thought. I should put the sound stripe thing as a visual thing at some point, so people can see can at least see the song that's being listened to. Tends to be appreciated, I think. Now we have a few of these, so I'm going to do these two outer rings. to here. And nothing around there. Now I'm going to find a certain type of blue. That'll do. Then what I need, it's kind of over here, I think. Might be that. Yeah, that's right. Or at least it's close enough to count. And I will find a green to actually fill the thorns with. Since with some of it being coloured, it doesn't look right that the rest doesn't. And here. Hmm. I always hope that these songs will suddenly burst into actual lyrics, but I know not to get my hopes up with royalty-free music. They tend to be instrumentals. Mostly because I'm not sure if it's just because of the difficulty of finding vocalists for that kind of thing, or if it's just because that's what like people typically want instrumentals for the kind of thing that would require royalty-free music. And I know we've hit the time, but I'm going to finish the colors first. It won't take me over too much. Right. Oh, that works on this too. I thought I just kind of reflexively held space to drag and whereas like that's the live 2D control, but I guess it's fairly universal. Moving it for there. And then okay. Right thing, yes. Nah, I'll leave that for shading. The grey, just that tiny bit there. Need to erase bits now. I didn't realise I drifted over the edge there. Oh right, because I did because I didn't worry about it. Okay, we get that. We lighten it a little bit further. No, further. Okay, that's more like it. And brain fart, there's the tool. When I first looked at these, when I first looked at this piece that I'm working from, I didn't actually realize they were all the limbs, all the relevant limbs were prosthetic. I got it in my head that these were already kind of anthropomorphic. They kind of are, I suppose, because there isn't any indication that the chest ain't natural other than it being on a non-mammalian, but it's only the limbs that are specifically shown as being extras. Almost there. I'll put the bases on the. I'll put the bases on the rest of the thing as well. Back to black for you to put a quick. Then I want that yellow back. That'll be right. Nice. Now, another color layer. I want. You know what? I can go with a. I'm going to merge my sketches now because I want to put a specific bit of it plus that and that will grow the selection by 2 pixels. I know what happened there. We got a tiny little bit of a hole just there. I think that's right anyway. Yes, that was right. Okay. Settings. Grow to. Oh. One more tiny thing there. Now this we will put. We'll actually use that default blue. Then, for this tower, just going to select that whole section that wasn't affected by the blue. Shrink the selection by 1 pixel so it doesn't, so it's in the lines. Then we need a new brush. There's one that I like for this. Is it this one? No. Kind of works. It's more like, I think it's this one. Yes. It's that one, but let's try this one. Yeah, I think that one works better. So we get this, just color it ever so slightly. Let's try with pure black. It's a proper, that's a proper, is it ivory tower? Oh no, it's marble, I guess. And now we've gotten all of those in place. We can delete, oh no, wrong layer. Delete those. And I think for this stream, this is done. Managed to get the lineup mostly done. I am improving on my drawing of hands, so I will take that wholeheartedly. Oh, what the? Oh, right. And that's saved. And oh, I can add one little other thing. If I select all of these, I'll need that same color first. And I'm going to need the usual brush at a pretty large size. One darker, one quite a bit closer to white. Change this, take all of the fade out, drop the opacity. So now just a real quick background, a bit of shading on the sky. I'll add clouds or something later. But yes, for now I think this piece has gone as far as I can really put it. So I'm going to see if I can find someone to send this to. Who's online? They're closed. Cool. And let's send you over to Shilin, an incredibly talented artist. Make sure I get the name right. I have. Okay. So yes, this will be all for today, folks. Next one will be on Friday, where I'm going to be starting another art fight project, picking another one of the characters to do. I'm hoping to do a round 8 before the month ends. Okay. Come on. But until then, see you around. Enjoy where you're going.